Hi, I am Ruth Dempsey, and today I am here to talk to you about the doTERRA Lifestyle and Wellness Chart. I'm a PhD scientist specialising in studying how our lifestyle choices impact our health, and so I love the clarity that the doTERRA Wellness Chart brings with respect to lifestyle options and impact. The chart has 6 elements, from the ground up described as nutrition and digestion, movement and metabolism, rest and managing stress, reducing toxicity, informed self-care, and proactive medical care. As a scientist interested in lifestyle, I am going to focus on the first 4 elements of this chart, as these are the ones that are fully lifestyle-based. The latter 2 can be considered more about healthcare, but I think, as you will see, the more focused we are on managing these first 4 layers, the less we will need to think about the healthcare elements. I think that the chart is the perfect analogy for this, insofar that the more you take care of the foundational steps, the better your health and wellness will be, and the less you will need to do for the top 2 healthcare levels. So let's start with the foundation, nutrition and digestion. Good nutrition is probably the most important thing that anyone can do to protect your health, but it is often neglected because many look for convenience foods, eat too little or too much, or with inadequate balance of nutrients. Fundamentally, nutritional health is maintained when nutrient intake meets the body's requirements, for example, for energy, exercise, growth, organ and tissue function. It's important to note that everyone will have different nutritional needs depending on many factors, including age, physical activity, the need to manage external stresses, and many other elements. A balanced mixture of lots of different sources of nutrition is at the base of this, including using fresh ingredients whenever possible. But it is also often not sufficient. Sadly, because modern agricultural practices, the depletion of soil quality, long-term storage and transportation of our food leads to much depleted nutrient quality for many foods. This is why supplementation with products like doTERRA's lifelong vitality supplements can be so important, along with a good healthy diet, in supporting a balanced nutrient intake across the board. And of course, we need a good, sound dietary intake to support the next layer of the chart, that is healthy exercise, movement and metabolism. There is a wealth of scientific literature on the benefits of exercise for almost all aspects of health. For several decades, this has led to rather prescriptive advice, particularly aimed at the modern Western office-bound lifestyle, to get people moving more. Much of this related to a minimum amount of daily cardiovascular exercise, with suggestions such as a minimum of 20 minutes of brisk walking or 3 times of intense cardiovascular training per week, etc. More recent evidence indicates that often such advice backfires because it doesn't account for individual differences in desires or needs. So the current advice, thankfully, is simply to find ways that you enjoy exercise, that encourage you to implement daily exercise routines that you will maintain. And of course, there are a range of doTERRA products that can support you for your exercise, be it through the Deep Blue range to support and soothe you through those aches and pains of new exercise routines, or perhaps the oils to support a daily yoga routine, or simply to make your chosen exercise space smell attractive and tempting. And of course, supporting how our body metabolizes the nutrients we need to support our exercise routines is at the essence of the doTERRA MetaPower range. Moving up the chart leads us to managing stress and getting sound and sufficient sleep. And this is perhaps one of the most complicated to manage. Of course, if we have good nutrition and if we are exercising optimally, these will help a lot to manage stress and help good sleep. But it's often not enough. It's also important to note that these 2 elements, stress and sleep, are inextricably linked. Reducing stress will certainly help with sleep patterns, but equally getting sound sleep and enough of it is essential to managing stress. Most of the research these days is pointing towards how mindfulness practices, such as meditation and breathwork, can help for both of these aspects. And I love much of the research that has been done on the Japanese practice of Shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing, to counter many of the physiological and psychological impacts of stress. It's also interesting to see research showing how healthy relationships and supportive communities can help to reduce stress and lead to healthier and even longer lives. There are, of course, a host of essential oils such as lavender and many of the tree oils which have been seen to be at the roots of the benefits of forest bathing and that have been shown to be helpful both for sleep and stress. Which leads me to the last of the lifestyle elements of the chart, reducing toxicity. All of us are exposed to numerous sources of toxins all the time. And in general, our body can manage those, provided, of course, it has all the nutritional resources to support the necessary functional processes to manage toxic exposure in the body. But there is a great deal of concern these days about the overall burden that pollution and synthetic chemical exposures have on public health. And it is more and more common to find our natural detoxifying processes can't quite cope with the burdens put upon them. We can't completely avoid such exposures, but we can do things to reduce them, most notably by the use of simple, natural products in just sufficient amounts to be effective, substituting aggressive chemicals in cleaning products for natural products using essential oils, for example. Equally, substituting synthetic chemicals in perfumes or skincare products. Every little bit will help, undoubtedly. And the more we do, and the better balanced we are in all these 4 layers of the chart, the more benefits we are likely to feel. And most significantly, the fewer times we will need to resort to either of the healthcare elements of the chart, including limiting the needs to manage informed self-care, and even more, by reducing the occasions where we need to seek professional help for medical support.